Hi, my name is Dr. Marc Reynolds, and I have my good friend Sam Johnson here with me today. And we're going to be commenting. What are we commenting on today, Sam?
We're reacting to and analyzing BTS performing on SNL.
We're so excited to see what we learn from this thing. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, BTS.
Text me.
They are a very fine working piece of machinery.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the voice technique I'm seeing across the whole board is amazing. How consistent they are. I mean, if you watch just how much the position that they're releasing their jaw to consistently for each one, like the jaw's going down and back to like the exact same place. Holy cow.
So they're robots, right?
No, they're just really well refined like performers. Like they have someone who's really attentive to make them go. I mean, you can look right here and just how they're expressing their bodies that they're not robots. They're not all doing exactly the same thing in this moment that we're frozen on. But their sound's not the same either across all of it. It's just the bass technique is so kind of crazily consistent and the same, which is amazing.
Yeah. And so far, they're doing a lot of just really light mixing up at the top of their range, but it is mixing because they're able to come back down and it doesn't sound like a completely different voice.
Yeah.
But it sounds so easy to me. And that because they don't have to worry about their technique at all, because they practiced it so much, their dancing is like the primary focus and their performance is the primary focus because they're not in their heads thinking about technique the whole time.
Yeah. I was at a master class where we hosted this professional opera singer to come in and work with some of our students like we do. He's in town for another show. And one of the things he's doing a lot was just pushing the singers around, making sure that they move and didn't get stiff and rigid, you know? And you're watching these performers here and they are so flexible. I mean, their faces are flexible. I'm not seeing any rigid tension creeping in anywhere. I mean, whoa.
And the voice is like it's a whole body thing. If you're holding tension in one place, it throws off the system in some way. And so, yeah, definitely getting people moving is such a valuable tool. I actually have people, like I suggest that people practice on treadmills if they have one at their house, just because it gets them relaxed in that way.
Yeah. So, I mean, and you're right, vocally, they're just keeping it easy. You know, I can't count how many times, I don't know if you have the same experience, Sam, where it's just like, you got to let the mic do its job. You know, they're not forcing themselves to make a certain sound. They're just keeping it easy and letting the mic do the work. And
exactly. And with that second soloist, it sounded like he was having a hard time hearing himself or something was weird with it. But or maybe it was just that the mic was turned down a little. It didn't seem like he was trying to compensate, though. And that's the thing is you let your professionals do their professional job of managing your sound and stuff. And the SNL sound has been a little bit on and off for vocalists before, but you know, you still have to trust them and not try to do their job for them.
Right. And I also wonder, I would have to go back and look at that again. The angle is kind of weird on that singer. But if he was pulling the mic away from his face a little bit too, which makes it tricky for the sound designer technician in back.
So. Yeah, totally fair. style to it. It's kind of disco-y.
One of the things that I'm questioning as I'm walking through are black shoes and white shoes. Why did they make that choice?
Yeah. So you watch things a little differently than I do because of your directing experience.
Yeah.
But like looking at just the whole stage picture, what are you noticing?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just fascinated by that. I'm seeing 3 of them with white shoes and 3 of them with black shoes, 4 pairs of white shoes, and they're all different kinds of shoes. Which does it really matter? Well, it does in that the white draws our attention a lot, especially since they're wearing all black. And I just wonder why they did that. Like, why did they?
I'm sure there's a reason. I mean, these groups are so manicured. I'm sure there's a reason. Whether the reason is as simple as like, these are dope shoes and we want them to wear like cool shoes so that sneakerheads appreciate it.
Right.
Maybe it's that. But like, just from a visual thing, from freezing any one frame, it's kind of confusing. You're right.
Yeah, and like you're saying, I'm sure there's a choice. I just don't know what it is yet. I haven't made sense of it. And it could come back to it, like you're saying, it could be a corporate thing where like they're getting sponsored to wear these specific shoes, and the more they wear the different kinds of shoes, the more money that their group brings in. You know, it could be an agreement.
Weirder things have happened. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of unique, and I'm watching it. Yeah.
그대는 후연의 삶은 언덕 완벽하지 않게 만들어버린 너라는 별 하나부터 열까지 모두에게 특별하지 너에게 심사거름거리만 사소한 작은 습관들까지
I think that when they're training, they don't separate like, okay, you are singer path and you are this other path. Like they all kind of get the same good training.
Right.
So the rappers, what I've heard when they sing their clean stuff, and they're actually in singer brain, it's really good singing a lot of the time because just good voice use is good voice use.
Well, what's interesting, usually when you watch someone start to rap, the mic goes right up to their mouth, their jaw collapses, their soft palate collapses in the back too. But his didn't. His jaw stayed open. He stayed right in the perfect singer position. It's like I'm watching almost a music theater person more than I am, a pop rapper. Not to say one's better than the other, but just it's a lot more seamless.
It's a good question because Hamilton is insanely popular right now.
Right.
And when I listen to it, I almost feel betrayed as a fan of hip hop. And this is the weirdest thing, but it's like I have these very strong expectations that rappers sound a certain way and that musical theater people sound a certain way. And they subvert a lot of those things, which is a big part of why Hamilton is so successful, is because it's like messing with things in that weird way. But it is kind of a different tonal spectrum hearing someone who knows how to sing and defines themselves as a singer and is able to hold on to those skills when they go over to rap. Also, just like the shoes, it draws your eyes to it. I wonder if just having a few of them being a little bit weird draws our eyes down, and then we are able to notice the cool stepping that they're doing a little bit better. It's maybe something like that.
It might be, and that's what I was originally thinking. I'm honestly wondering if it's more just trying to make, like you're saying, like, are they robots? If you look at their shirts and they have uniformity and they feel like a group because they're all wearing black jackets and black pants. But they also get a sense of individualism by their different shirts and their shoes. So I don't know.
Good point, yeah.
I'm wondering if it's just yes, the white does draw attention to their dancing, and they obviously are very dance oriented. But I think it's also just a way to have this unified group without it feeling like a bunch of automatons, where they each have their own unique personality. Which, in the more I get familiar with K-pop stuff, the more that kind of prestige of each singer and their own uniqueness is really important. And I wonder if that's all it is here.
Probably. I think that's a big part of it. But maybe they are robots and they're just able to pass the Turing test right now. And I think that either of them, there's no way to tell. There's no way to tell right now.
Right.
having so much fun. Or they're really good at faking having fun.
It's 100%.
Yeah. And I mean, that is a very valuable skill, being able to fake that you're into something when you're absolutely not.
Yeah.
Because when you're this famous, you're going to perform on some days that you're not feeling that well.
Yeah.
And they're all good enough that they can kind of get through that.
Yeah.
But I mean, all of that stuff is only capable because they've put in all of the work. And I feel like a broken record with these videos sometimes because I say the same 3 things. But like, you just have to practice a lot. In order to get to this level, it takes so much work. And I think that anyone can do it, but it's like not everyone is willing to put in that work.
100%. I'm with you. Well, and also it's the work and also having someone who's attentive to you outside your own body. You know, that's another thing that came up with this masterclass with this opera guy that was in there. He's like, you will always need a voice teacher and a performance coach. You'll always need it. It doesn't matter how good you are, how famous you are. You'll always need that person that's outside of your body attending to you and helping you figure out what's going on and being that extra set of eyes and ears. And these groups, one of the things that's so cool is they do have people who are so attentive to that. So I think that's amazing.
So you brought up the difference between a voice teacher and a performance coach. I also hear vocal coach a lot. How would you describe the difference between those 3 jobs?
Yeah, so a voice...
And how they can work together, too.
Sure. So a voice teacher, their job is to make sure that you are creating the sound here in the vocal folds in a healthy, efficient way, and that you're shaping it in a way that's according to the style or genre that you're singing. They're essentially voice technicians is their primary job.
Mechanics, yeah.
And then a voice coach is someone who is focusing more on, are you articulating your words correctly? Are you doing things stylistically correct? Are you doing all the little things that make it authentic to that style or genre? Is the language correct? All those kind of interpretive, expressive things that are done with the voice, are those correct? A performance...
And then in contemporary music, those two have kind of become the same thing. They're rolled together a lot. And so... But anyway,
and that happens in classical voice too. Is the reality is a lot of times the lines between those are blurred a lot. But for the professionals who are really doing amazing work, they find that they have a different priority set. If I walk into a coaching where I'm walking with a voice teacher hat versus a performance coach hat versus a voice coach hat, my priorities just shift. They're a little bit different. So
you listen in a different way.
I listen in a different way. And then a performance coach is basically everything you see visually. It's their job to make sure it looks right. And that it's believable, it's authentic, it looks appropriate to the style that you're singing, and it's interesting and those type of things. So the overlap between all of them is they're all wanting it to be easy, believable, getting a lot of variety and clarity in what's being communicated. And so constantly there's a lot of overlap too. But again, even if you're working with someone who they're pretty good about working through all 3, being very attentive to making sure that you are consciously spending time on each element becomes really important.
And then just as a performer and as someone who is learning, practicing while you go into each of those 3 different modes and kind of giving yourself permission to go between those and focus on one thing at a time, I think is better than trying to do everything at once.
Amen. Yeah. And then finally, I think the important thing with what you're saying there is also spending time to just practice as a performer, forgetting all the technique things, letting that go and just focusing on the expressive stuff.
Sometimes people are able to make these breakthroughs with their voice when they are focusing on the performance thing.
Right. And then video it and see how much of the technical stuff stuck. And then go back and practice the things that didn't stick.
Sometimes I forget that boy bands are what got me into music to begin with.
My eyes go into their posture. You and I both know that I don't like talking about posture, and I don't think you spend a whole lot of time focusing on posture either. But there is something to it where it's interesting to me to watch that for the most part, even when they're doing all these moves that look really pretty relaxed and slouchy, that they're still keeping that core lined up really well. That's pretty cool.
But what I noticed in that last part was the difference in their body language between those sharp, really big movements, and then they just kind of relaxed and it turned into a slow jam. But like the technique underneath it all stays the same, but they did such a good job like showing off completely different moods right back to back, and I think that was so sharp.
Yes. And I think that's something people confuse a lot is well, how do I make that still happen without it affecting my technique? And it all comes back to, if you watch them, that expressive mood change and what their movement change is happening more in their extremities, from their waist down, from their shoulders out, than it is in that center core of what's going on. That for the most part, they're keeping lined up. Yeah.
Their sternum is never collapsing. Their ribs are never collapsing. That's, I think, the main thing. And the image that I like thinking about is just a straight spine. If you think about a straight spine, then your ribs won't collapse, and then you still have a lot of flexibility to do whatever.
Right. Yeah. So unique, each one, but it still all feels like it's part of the same thing. It's so cool. Good they are drawing attention to the person who's the center of focus. And you don't even notice
So
it.
what are some of the things that they're doing to draw that focus?
Well, the lights are helping some, but it's the person who's the center of focus is moving more. The group is also, they're giving them like a performer soloist bubble, right? But he's right there center. You'll notice he has more space around him than anyone else. And he was the last person who's the center of attention. And also is where everyone's looking. Everyone's kind of trying to look at the person who's the center of attention. Everything's evolving around that person. But you don't even, to me, I don't even notice it until my stage director brain goes on, and I do. Do you know what I mean? And then I'm like, wow, that is so cool how smooth they're able to transition in and out of each singer, make them the center of attention without even realizing. They're all so unique, but yet it feels cohesive. I mean, how cool that they've...
It's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, what a awesome example of what a good ensemble does. Wow.
And I love performances that I'm able to just like shut off my brain and start giggling at, because there's nothing really to analyze.
Right.
It's just like, wow, look at this awesome high energy performance by very skilled people.
Right. Well, and I think that's a huge point. Was there anything that drew your attention away from the performance that was where you saw stress or tension or discomfort or someone who wasn't connected? No, me neither. And to me, that is the first step of an awesome performance, is that there's nothing distracting. Then the second one is are there things that are entertaining and grabbing and that enhance the performance? And here, I mean, there's everything is geared towards this.
Start to finish.
And
it's interesting, like, the way you talk about the ensemble aspect of all of it, because when you're watching a good opera, each individual has their own character down to like the very least known person on the stage, right? And it kind of reminds me of the same thing. It's like they have these little interactions between members, and I don't know, it's very operatic in a way.
It's extremely operatic. Even people think, well, the dance element isn't, but there's a ton of dance in opera too. But yeah, I mean, I'm really interested in taking this to one of, say, my opera classes and having them evaluate what they can learn from this.
Do it.
And apply it to opera, you know, because there's so much to learn from what they're doing, where and that's the goal, is to make it feel like a cohesive world, right? we spend a lot of time with designers to make the look just look like right, where we see individuals, but they all feel like they're part of the same world. And my gosh, here they are. And in this highly stylized dance kind of pop world, but it still feels so natural and authentic. Man, just love it.
They're really good. They are a very good group.
Yeah. Excellent.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. Anything else?
Anything else?
No. All right. Okay. So I'll wrap it up here. Here we go. So I hope you have enjoyed watching BTS as much as we have. It's been awesome to have Sam Johnson on here with me talking. Sam, where can they find your channel and your video if they don't already know you? Which if you don't already know Sam, you should. And you can find him where?
Just go type Sam Johnson, SamJohnson, and then click on a video, and I would appreciate that.
Yeah. So if you want a voice lesson, performance coaching, or want someone to help you with your group and making it look right, I'd love to hear what you think about this video and what we're talking about. Feel free to comment below.
Leave a comment.
Yeah. Comment below, subscribe, like, and we look forward to working with you next time.